Hello. Welcome to my show, Create a Life You Love, the Blueprint. Ah, I am excited to be here. I tell you, I know I always start off with like lately, it's just like right before I start, things come up. However, we're going to keep it going. I hope today you guys are having a good day. Pretty much, I am having a good day. It's just that And this kind of goes into kind of what the topic is going to be about today, which is basically watching the things that you eat for your ultimate well being, ultimate health. Again, we're still on the mind, body, and spirit because I'm going to tap into each one of those mind, body, and spirit. Pretty much what we put in our mind, what we put in our body, what we put in our spirit, what we put in our emotions, how we feed those parts of ourselves. It matters. So, while saying that, this is totally have been a journey and just a great topic. Like I said, I've said it in another episode that I'm going to continue on this path. And while doing that, it's allowing me to work out some kinks, to keep that routine going, to keep the regimen, like the morning routine, the afternoon routine, and then the evening routine. I'm still working on my morning routine. So I am your host, Violet Williams, and we're going to just dive into this, get into the reality of what it looks like each day to create a life you love. And love is live on vision every day. How do you live that vision every day? How do you create it? What does it look like? How does it come about? Because it's happening right now. It's happening right now. So, in saying that, I did mention that. So, let me kind of get into some of the topics here and what I want to cover. Uh, you guys, I have been using, oh, here it is. I said I have been using chat GPT. And last week, I did the show outside of a Starbucks to get the internet. I was like in location, another location. And right before I started the show, my phone died. So I had no access to my notes. However, it was fine because the reality is I'm beginning to, because of living this way and actually it being a practice, a daily practice, a lifelong goal. Or I say not lifelong goal, lifelong journey, just a lifelong way of being and expanding ourselves, right? You find that things begin to come natural. They become natural. The more you practice, the more it becomes you when you're creating. I always say when you have that vision of yourself, the ideal version of the self of yourself that you desire to be, the desired self that God has put in your heart, that image of yourself, right? The vision, the image, the identity of who you are, because we're constantly growing and learning ourselves. With that, I do believe that we have a built-in way of being. Does that make sense? Like a built-in way of being. Like there's some things about me that I can change, but however, I would just say growth. Then there's some things about myself that I love, that's who I am, which is my identity. So I'm getting to the point to where I'm comfortable being me, learn about me, and I hope throughout some of the episodes, that's kind of what you guys are getting as well too, that you're beginning to see yourself, see that identity of who and how you are creating, not who and how you are created, how you are created, how God has created you, and how you are creating things in your life, because that's where it comes from. We are the ones who are creating things in our lives by the way we think, our self talk, um, things that we eat, what we put into our bodies, again, the things that we listen to, all of our senses. It's coming through our senses, if that makes sense. So, what I really wanted to do is make it practical and simple. What is it that you're eating? What is it that you're eating? And so we're going to start there. I have this book. It says 101 Best Vegan Foods. Reason why I chose vegan foods, I know some people are vegan, some people are pescatarian, some people are plant-based. Do what works for you. I do a lot of things. I mainly eat, sometimes I eat vegan. I enjoy vegan. I enjoy vegetables, plant-based, meatless. Um, I enjoy eating, meatless. However, I enjoy fish. However, every now and then I enjoy having chicken. However, every now and then, once in a blue moon, I may have a piece of red meat. It's like, so I may have said that before. I can count how many times this year I've had red meat. Um, but I can't count right now. I can't remember. Maybe once or twice, maybe. However, what I'm saying is we just watch what works for you. Now, I was in the grocery store shopping, and I had actually bought it before. It's a seafood boiled, and it comes in a box, and it was delicious. Maybe I bought three of them, and I ate them and everything. And then this time I was like, oh my gosh, I better. When I went back to go buy it, and I said, let me ask to make sure that the sausage in it, because it's seafood, right? But they had sausage. And I was like, let me make sure that the sausage in here is not pork. I was, but anyway, it was pork. So I was like, no. But the whole point of sharing that is that the lady, the cashier, she was like, oh, so you don't eat pork? And no, I said I don't like eat sausage. I don't really eat pork. So she said, so you don't eat bacon? And I was like, no, I haven't had bacon in years. That's not to say that I would not eat it if I chose to, but however, I haven't had it in years. I've had substitute. I actually saw mushroom, a mushroom supplement to you could make use a mushroom to make bacon. But anyway, the whole point is I don't really miss it. And the thing about pork, I don't like what it does to my body. That's the reason why. Some things I eliminate because I don't like the way it makes me feel. Or it could be a fruit, could be a vegetable. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a meat. It's just I don't like the way it feels. There's not a lot of things that I don't like to eat in terms of taste. I pretty much have a palate I can. You mean I like a lot of. I like all fruits, all vegetables. Trying to think. But anyway, at this point, I can't think of anything. But anyway, what I want to share is that when you're picking a food to start with, plant-based, we should be eating vegetables and fruits anyway. So this is just a good book, let's see, to just kind of give ideas. Okay. I just want to just sometimes when you see and you hear, you remember. So that's why I was like, oh wow, I have this book. Look, this one says beans. It's beans. Um, the other one, bell peppers, beets. I like beets. Beets. Basil. Basil is another one I use. Basil. So you have basil, beets, avocados, avocados. Okay. Oh, okay. We have balsamic vinaigrette here, right? So again, this is kind of like a show and tell. I don't have the actual food. I wanted to like bring what my meal, what I eat normally for lunch sometimes, and just have it displayed. Maybe next time. But here we go. Asparagus. So these are some of the vegetables. Arugula. Arugula is one uh, leafy. It's peppery, very peppery and everything, and leafy. I haven't. Um, I just recently started eating arugula. I mean, it's been around forever, and I can remember, as a little girl, it being around. However, I just never had arugula. Then when I started eating arugula, I was like, oh, this is good. However, I went to Costa Rica. That's where my family's from. And when I went, they had the arugula. You guys, it was nothing like ours. It was amazing. And I wish I had taken a picture of it to show you. The leaf of the arugula looked like how our spinach leaf look. And it's just amazing. But you can make like arugula salad. This is like giving me ideas. I do salads a lot. Oh, here's another one. Um, okay, with the asparagus, what came to my mind was this is oh, quinoa, like asparagus quinoa, because quinoa has protein. So you can make asparagus and quinoa, make like a salad with that or a meal because the quinoa is protein. You have asparagus. You can have some avocado with that. You can chop up some bell pepper. You can actually mix some arugula in it or spinach. And this is it. Okay, bananas. So you know how they tell you, you're not supposed to eat bananas. Let me see my lighting here. I'm in a different location in my house and trying to stay with good light. So bananas. Okay. I make smoothies a lot with bananas. Now yesterday I had an avocado, I had a banana, and I had frozen pineapple. And I made a smoothie with that. I had coconut water and I put a little bit of coconut milk in it. Now I'm just sharing these things, I hope, as I'm talking, so it's not basically, wah, 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 wah. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make it very practical on how we're living and how we're eating and what we're doing every day. So that's the fruit. That's this is a vegan book, but only because this is where I can get a lot of the vegetables, beans, kidney beans, kale. See that? Just leek. And I had a meal the other day. It was leek. It was rice, leeks, and salmon. So I was like, next time I get this meal, and it was not cheap. Okay. Next time get that meal, I'm gonna say, you know what, just give me some broccoli. Because the thing about leeks, I said all that. That's wrong, you guys. It was bok choy. It was bok choy. Because bok choy sometimes you have to cook it to make it tender because it could be stringy. Or if you bite into it, you just chew and chew and chew and chew and chew, and then nothing. So I'm like, that was not fair. But leeks, I've heard of leek soup. Um, I may try it. There's a recipe in here for them. Lentil, here are your lentil beans. I just kind of want to go over some of these. Lentil beans, lentil, all of these things. Okay, then they're going into nuts. So macadamia nuts. So we went into some vegetables, fruit. We have mangoes here, mangoes. All things that you can add to a salad or add to a grain as well. They have it here with a grain. Again, quinoa is good. Here's another one, meatless sausage. which I eat a lot, but you can use regular sausage. And this one has rice and some beans. See that over there? Rice and beans. Um, I'm going to put up a few of these recipes on. I tell you what, if you're interested in getting some of the recipes, email me at yourbestspirit@gmail.com. Did I say at yourbestspirit@gmail.com? Email me. My email address is yourbestspirit@gmail.com. The reason why I have to pause it because I have another email address and it starts with at. I'm not even going to give it out. However, but it's yourbestspirit@gmail.com. So email me. I'm going to put some recipes together and then um, you'll have that. But again, just real quick, just want to remind you with that morning routine, you can like, um, once you start your morning with breakfast, I normally start with a ginger shot. I um, use the bullet to with the ginger. I use ginger lemon water, and sometimes I put turmeric in it or cinnamon. I did that this morning, and I have it warm, and I'll have that before I eat. It helps your digestive system. So you can do that 30 minutes before you eat, or just have lemon water. Just something to flush, and then have your meal, whatever you choose to have for breakfast. I have some ideas, but then maybe I'll put that in a little recipe in a little booklet. Now we did food for the body. Now we need food for the mind. So what's food for the mind? That has to do with your self-talk, okay? And how you're talking to yourself. The things that you are saying to yourself. Remember, all of these things that I'm talking about, they all starts with a seed. Food you planted, the best, starts with seed. And your thoughts and what you're thinking, your mind, right? Mind, body, and spirit, your mind is what you're saying. Words are like seeds. They'll take root and they'll begin to sprout and they'll begin to grow things. They'll begin to grow doubt, they'll grow hope, they'll grow faith, they'll grow doubt, they will grow joy, they will grow happiness. Think on these things, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things that are of good report. Think on those things. Now, it's not easy to do that. What I mean by it's not easy, if you're thinking one way, if it's something that you naturally do, and when I say naturally, everything we do is a practice, believe it or not. You learn how to think the way you think. You learn that. So if there's some things that you need to unlearn, then unlearn them by replacing them with what and how you want to think. Okay, does that make sense? Let me see if I can find. So I did have some things written out in mental psychology knowledge for emotional strength and intelligence. Okay, emotional intelligence. Boy, has that become a thing now. So self awareness. We go back to self awareness. Understand your emotions, your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, and your motivations, your self-awareness to help you recognize how your emotions affect your thoughts, your behavior, and how they influence others. Practicing mindfulness and reflection can enhance self-awareness. I know I was looking down while I was reading. I want to get it all out. Okay. So your self awareness. Be mindful. Mainly, first of all, be mindful of what you're saying to yourself. Okay? Be mindful of that. How you talk to yourself is more than likely how you're going to talk to someone else. But sometimes you talk to other people better than you talk to yourself. I'm not going to say figure it out, work it out. work it out that you're talking to yourself. And that's in wow, I'm getting distracted because I'm hearing a noise, you guys. But anyway, I'm gonna go check. Give me 1 second. I know this is probably not good, but it's distracting me. So hold on. Okay, I figured out what it was. I thought it was, but it's something else. So moving on. Okay, so we have self awareness and then we have empathy. Empathy now is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Empathy involves active listening, observing nonverbal cues, and genuinely caring about others' perspectives and emotions. Developing empathy helps build stronger and more meaningful relationships. Okay, so empathy. Think about that. Empathy. Hmm. It's a feeling that others had involved in listening, observing, picking up cues. I guess you can kind of figure out if someone's not having a good day or if someone's talking to you a particular kind of way and you know that's not really their character. So you can kind of pick up that maybe something else is going on, that type of thing. And empathy again is connecting, right? So you can connect and empathize with that person because maybe you felt that way before. You can connect and know what that feels like. You know, empathy, and then resilience is something that we need to have. Oh, resilience. That is such a strong word. Resilience. So resilience, the capacity to recover quickly. Wow. Mm. Capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and adapt to change. Resilience evolves maintaining a positive outlook, managing stress effectively. That's something that I learned. I had a situation a couple of weeks ago, and I walked for 2 hours to alleviate the stress. And to be honest, as I walked and walked, everything came to me on how to resolve it. And it was resolved. It, but I walked for like it was literally over 2 hours, you guys, you ladies. It was, but it worked out, and I was glad that I walked it out instead of being at home and you know pulling it in and having it weigh me down. Because when I was walking, it was coming out. I was able to take breaths, stretch it out, and get it out of my body. So yes, you meaning stress effectively and learning from experiences. Building resilience can be achieved through practice, such as developing a support network, engaging in regular physical activity, and practicing gratitude. Physical activities. So from that, back to that morning routine, that's the mindfulness. We had the food, the mindfulness. So with the morning routine, what I've implemented, I've mentioned that is exercise. Rather if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't listen. I'm not going. I'm not the one to go out and go to the gym. If I have to get dressed and go out and go to a gym, for me, that's not going to work. Now that helps you with your routine, for you to go and walk. I mean, get dressed, get your clothes on, and go. You physically have to go to the gym and you have to get a trainer, then you have to do what works for you. But me, just the thought of that, I'm just going to stay in bed. It's, I need to roll out of bed and go right into my stretches, stretch and my workout. I have a little workout. See, I didn't have my these here. I put them here today. So my little weight. And another thing I'm gonna get is I already ordered it. It's a green light that helps with migraine and it helps with skin and it helps alleviate stress. I know the red light helps with stress, also in sleep patterns with your sleep. Those things are important. So I'll begin to implement all those items in as well, what I'm using in terms of the lighting and other things. As time progresses, I'm going to really share and give you guys what I'm doing, what's helping me stay whole and healthy, mind, body, and spirit. Because I know it takes work. And someone gave me some of this information. Someone shared it with me. And so I was like, wow, I wasn't even there. I wasn't even thinking that. So I'm going to share it with you. Okay. And that's one of the things is that green light, the weights, and what I'm sharing with you now. Okay. But all of these, because I had a way of doing things and it was working. However, now, as we age, we got to do things different. We got to switch it up. And I don't want to say be more aggressive. However, have to be, it's the way of being is being consistent and tailoring it back to the blueprint. Goes back to that. It goes back to the blueprint. What's the blueprint for you? What's going to work for you? So for me, I'm finding that my blueprint has shifted. It's at another level. And rather that it's taking more, but that's growth. That's what it boils down to. Growth. Okay, so last we did the mind, we did the body. Now we're going to go into the spirit. So I'm going to give structure to strengthen and to nourish your spirit. So to strengthen and to nourish your spirit, we talk about things that nourish your body, what nourishes your mind, and now we're going to go into what nourishes your spirit. I'm just going to give three scriptures, three of them. And the first one is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I use that one because sometimes you just feel like you just cannot do it. Literally, I mean, that was me today. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I just want to stay in bed. I just want to stay. Because sometimes you feel that way. I was like, ooh. So then I went into my meditation, to my self talk, into my mindfulness, and it started to get better. And then I got that phone call. Then you get a phone call that interrupts your flow. So, what do you do when something interrupts your flow? So, again, you have to be pretty much connected with yourself. And I think once you are on purpose and you have a routine, you have a flow, that when something interrupts that, I didn't want to get irritable because I'm tired. It's like, look, I don't want to get irritable. You know what I mean? If you can understand and relate to that. I didn't want to get irritable. So it interrupted my flow. I had to answer the call. So I answered the call and threw me off course a little bit. However, within, you know, how I have my morning and afternoon organized. But I realized what happened is I didn't get shaken up inside. I was resilient. See, I was able to bounce back. I was flexible. So that's why when I first started, I was like, oh, but I didn't, you know what I mean? I feel pretty calm. So a lot of times that's what's going on, because life is happening. But in and while it's happening, we can still look good, think good, feel good, eat good. You understand? And exercise. So that was one scripture. So then Isaiah 40:31 says, put those, put those who hope in the Lord, not put, it's but. Give me 1 second. Let me pull back here. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Okay, so that's what it is. So something happens, you're not gonna faint because you pretty much has your, you have your strength up. That does not mean you have to take time out to, that you need that downtime. It's not saying, be superwoman all the time, every time. No, you must take care of yourself. However, it means that you know when to do that and when you have to use your strength and when you have to, be vulnerable, you know when to do those things, what you're able to do and how you're able to navigate through those situations, right? That's what it means. Managing that because we're self-aware. When you're self-aware and your body is strengthened, then you're good. Last one. Okay. And it is Psalms 46, 1 and 2. God is our refuge and strength, and pres- even present helps in trouble. And he's our strength and refuge, and ever present, and helps in troubles. Therefore, we will not fear through the earth, though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the hearts of the sea. Okay, so we're not going to bear when that happens. we're not going to we're not going to bear when the earth falls, the mountain gives way. We're not going to bear. All right. So that means, listen, we're going to walk by faith and not by sight. We're not going to bear because I always say, look, this I'm laughing because I always go, well, if the earth is not falling and nothing's caving in, then we're gonna be good. This just said if the earth falls, what? Falls into the sea and the heart? Well, okay. We just know that God got us. And um, you got you too. You got you. You got this. That's what it boils down to. You got this. All right. So I hope that gave you some perspective, gave you some information that you can use and put to work now. So you can own your worth now. Now, own worth. That's now. Okay? Do it by faith. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You got this. So if you think it, speak it, to be it, to create the life that you love, and to live on that vision every day. Okay? So from my best spirit to your best spirit. Ciao.